Now, the head teacher of a flagship free school praised by David Cameron has been arrested over fraud allegations. Sajid Raza's arrest follows a government report which found King's Science Academy had misclaimed thousands of pounds of public money. The academy's patron is Alan Lewis, the Conservative Party's vice chairman for business relations. Our North of England correspondent Kieran Jenkins is at the school in Bradford now. Kieran.
Well, this school is always going to be under intense scrutiny, not least because it's one of the first free schools, a major government policy, of course, but also, as you say, because of its links to Alan Lewis, a Conservative Party vice chairman who is the school's patron, but also the school's landlord. He owns the site here in which the school is located. Now, it's not the first free school to attract controversy, but the issues here are slightly different. For many months now, there have been allegations of serious criminality that come to a head today with the arrest of the head teacher, Sajid Raza, on suspicion of fraud.
What's your favourite thing about the school?
This was once the flagship school for a flagship policy. The Prime Minister was here 2 years ago with the head teacher, Sajid Raza, right at his side. David Cameron even followed up with a handwritten note. To the head, he wrote, "I was really impressed. Keep it up." So it's all the more embarrassing that the very same head teacher and founder of this free school has now been arrested on suspicion of fraud. Scandals like this were inevitable, say critics of the free school policy, among them the local Lib Dem MP.
Because this is such an important policy area for the Conservatives, the fear I have is that the normal rules of public accountability are just being forgotten and put to one side.
The fraud allegations first emerged in a Department for Education audit published last October. It found funding totalling £86,000 hadn't been used for its intended purpose, of which £60,000 of spending was supported by no evidence at all. The school was told to repay almost £77,000. At the school gates this afternoon, there was some support among parents for the head teacher. Are you concerned at all about the head teacher being arrested?
Well, I'm not concerned because nothing's been proven as it stands. There's an investigation going on that'll run its due course.
I think if something has gone wrong, the parents have a right to know. If media knows, the press knows that there's something going on, they also have a right to be able to bring that out into the public. But in terms of a reaction, of course it's shocking.
The school itself has refused to comment. The Sajid Raza, the head teacher, has now been bailed pending further investigations. I suppose the question for the school now is what next with the head teacher arrested on suspicion of fraud? The whole point of free schools, of course, is that they're independently controlled. Some say not enough oversight. The only person they're answerable to is the Education Secretary, Michael Gove. He's shown in recent months he's prepared to close failing free schools, and one parent told me tonight he fears that this school faces a similar fate.
Kieran, thanks very much. Well, how tricky is all this for the Conservative Party? Well, with the answer is our political correspondent, Michael Crick, in the studio. How tricky?
Well, it's pretty tricky because this is not the only free school that's in trouble. There are several others who got difficulties of a different kind. But I think there are two particular issues that Liberal Democrat and Labour MPs will be focusing on. First of all, there's the role of Alan Lewis, one of the Conservative Party's national vice chairman, who is landlord of this school, the benefactor, the executive patron. Now, his spokesman says he's had no role in the financial management of this school or the governance of it, in which case, why is he executive patron? And David Ward, the local Liberal Democrat MP that you saw there, said in the House of Commons earlier in the week that he'd been told that Mr. Lewis had recommended a particular firm of auditors to the school and that they'd shown him the recent audit report and that he had recommended various changes. So there's that question. The second question is, why has this taken the police so long? The DFE finished their report on this school last spring. They referred it to the National Police Fraud Authorities in April, and according to the DFE, the police decided to take no further action. But then in October, television journalists got hold of this report, were about to publish. The DFE decided to publish it for themselves, and 5 days later, it's referred to West Yorkshire Police. Now, is that just slowness by the police, or does it reflect a cover-up, as Labour believes, an attitude within government that they don't want these matters pursued particularly assiduously?
We'll leave it there. Michael Crick, thank you very much indeed. Chris.